大家好，欢迎来到乐乐 Talk。在这一集，我们邀请来自住在泰国的美国妈妈 Stephanie， 分享她在自己完全不会中文，如何陪着孩子一步步走向中文独立阅读的旅程。她的女儿4岁开始学中文，到今天能独立阅读，与朋友用中文交流。这是一个妈妈不会中文，孩子却爱上中文的真实故事。如果你曾经怀疑自己是否能帮助孩子建立中文能力，那你一定不能错过这一集。
Hello, Stephanie.
How are you doing today?
Yes, great. Can you please share your background of your family for us about your Chinese learning journey?
So we began our Chinese learning journey when my daughter was about 4 years old, just short of 5 years old. And she became concerned that she was going to run out of English books to read. And so she wanted to learn another language. And we chose Chinese.
It was her idea.
It was her idea, yes.
Wow. Okay.
At the time, I was teaching online and my husband was teaching online, and we were teaching English to students in China. And so I think that influenced her choice, and she decided to learn Chinese for the purpose of being able to read Chinese books. That was, in her mind, the main purpose. Wow. And so, yes, she started taking a few classes online and really enjoyed it. And we began to invest more into building a library and investing more into character recognition and learning to read. And her younger brother, she put the, what is that saying? She put the moon in the sky. That was his opinion of her. Like, she was his entire world. He was absolutely obsessed with everything that she did. And so he just followed after her. He saw what she was interested in, and that's what he wanted to do. So when she was in class, he was always listening, playing quietly beside her. When she was reading, she would read to him. And then, so his journey naturally began as well. And so we just dove deeper and deeper into learning Chinese. COVID hit, and so we're given the luxury of a lot of time at home.
Yeah, I think I really change a lot of families about Chinese learning.
Yeah, I mean, we all of a sudden had so much more time at home. We were isolated more from the other languages that our children were being exposed to at the time. So we live in Thailand, and we were living in a Korean village. So they were both also learning Thai and Korean at the same time. But during COVID, because we were in lockdowns, they were thrown more into the world of learning Chinese because, our daily homeschool routine began to focus much more on Chinese learning than any other language, just because that was their interest. And my mentality with homeschooling is follow the child. And so because that's what they were the most interested in, that's what I looked for. Found an absolutely wonderful community online that was incredibly supportive, and we wouldn't be anywhere as far along on the journey as we are now if it weren't for that community, because I don't speak Chinese. My husband doesn't speak Chinese. Neither of us had ever fluently learned another language, and we didn't as a child. So
yeah, that's amazing. So would you say Chinese is her fourth language when she started, or?
So I would say her first language is English, her second language is Korean, her third language is Thai, and Chinese was her fourth language. And she's since lost Korean because we no longer live in a Korean village, and unfortunately there's just not enough access to Korean learning materials and Korean literacy because of all of the fighting in Myanmar. So much of that was destroyed. And so because there isn't much of an infrastructure for her to continue to learn Korean, she's really, I feel like if we went back, just like for myself and my husband, like it would come back quickly for her. But but so now I'd say, now, like level-wise, I'd say Chinese is like her second language when it comes to like fluency and amount of use.
I thought it would still be Thai because you're still living in Thailand, right? But how come Chinese can be stronger than Thai when you live in Thailand?
Because my children's brains just mesh some way with Chinese and they just love it so much. I don't know what it is, but both of them will say that Chinese is easier for them. It's easier to read in Chinese. They don't use Thai with each other, despite the fact they are fluent Thai speakers. I mean, they attend a Thai school. Most of their friends are Thai and speak Thai. They are fluent in Thai, but you will not hear a word of Thai in this household between the two of them. Okay. Even when my husband, because he speaks a bit of Thai, even when he tries to engage them in Thai, they respond in English. But you will constantly hear Chinese in this household because that is their choice of language between the two of them. We did a very odd, it's a very odd opal situation. We did one person, one language, but
it's great because anyway, they get chance to speak Thai when they are out and about, and it's great that they speak more Chinese at home, so they get the time to speak it. Yeah, that's awesome. It's a dream that everyone wants to achieve.
Yes, and we have, and because we have a community that's very diverse, even just in our little neighborhood. They have Chinese friends in our neighborhood. They're at their houses speaking Chinese. It took a lot of those kids a bit of time to, for their brains to shift to categorizing my children as Chinese speakers. So when they first started playing with these neighborhood friends, these are children who have recently moved from China as well. So they aren't fluent English speakers. Most of them are attending international schools and learning English, but they aren't fluent English speakers. But still, they would see my white kids and try to speak English to them. And my kids are speaking Chinese back to them. All the moms are laughing because we're like, this is the weirdest thing.
Not used to.
Yeah, but now it's switched. Now all of the children speak Chinese to them. It's the easier one to use. So
well, I think their parents will be really appreciate that you are living in the same area too, because otherwise their kids maybe Thai will get stronger and Chinese will lose, but because you are around in the community, so their kids get like same age kids to speak Chinese together. Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, it's definitely, my children are utilized by local Chinese families for dedicated Chinese practice because they know that they won't switch to English. Yeah. And I mean, my kids,
that's good.
For my son, because he started so young, I honestly don't think, there's any difference between his ability in English and Chinese at this point. Mm-hmm. He's constantly, I mean, at least once a day, once every other day, he's asking his sister, what is the word for this in English? Oh, so wow. His level of comfort, like even when as a toddler, when he would play by himself, he used Chinese. Liliana would switch. She would use English sometimes, use Thai sometimes, use Chinese sometimes. But for him, I mean, if he speaks in his sleep, he speaks in Chinese.
Wow.
So I assume he's dreaming in Chinese as well. But
interesting.
I think there's a lot of space for research in understanding the way different children and adults, the way our brains are formed and, the way that we learn language, to understand why certain languages resonate with certain people more than others. And for some reason, Chinese just resonates with them more than other languages. I really can't put a finger on exactly why that is, but
it's cool.
That's the way it turned out.
It's very cool to know, like, see, it's possible, and it happens. It's a real story, and yeah, wow, it's really cool. So, could you share what challenges that you think you have on this journey?
I would say the challenges have changed over time. So when they were younger and when they were first beginning, it was the challenge of not being a speaker myself and having to find resources. I am an educator by like, I have a degree in education. Literacy is my passion. Teaching children to read, like, this is what I've done my entire life. But doing it in another language, I really had to seek out experts and people who were a bit farther along on the journey or in the same place as we were in the journey to just kind of follow their lead and then see what worked with my children, what didn't work with my children, what I was capable of supporting and what I wasn't capable of supporting. Because not being able to read or speak, that limits your ability to, have access to using certain resources that maybe native speaking parents would use. So, I mean, for example, Lele was one of those resources that was accessible to us because it had the pen along with it. So I didn't have to worry about not giving them the opportunity to hear the proper pronunciation of words and to build their vocabulary properly because I wasn't able to support that. Later, COVID time was not an issue. I'd say now the greatest challenge we have in moving forward along their journey, especially with my son with reading, is time. Time is our enemy. So he's
lots of activities and then school. Yeah.
He's getting more active in school activities, more sports. Liliana's, more active in sports. And so that has become a challenge. So I've tried to face that by finding as many opportunities where, we can multitask a bit. Mm-hmm. So finding activities in, like my son now, he's doing wushu. And so the opportunity to study a sport where he can also practice his Chinese is...
It's the wushu is taught in Chinese.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yes. Now, everyone in the group isn't a native Chinese speaker. There are a few Chinese students in his group that practices together, but they are using Chinese in the group, which is good. And then for like when they're at home, I really rely on them using each other as a resource. So continuing like the practices that we put in place at the beginning of preparing for classes, for Chinese classes, always happens alongside each other. Any sort of reading aloud always happens alongside each other. Mm-hmm. So they continue to, help each other move forward as well.
So, because you and your husband can speak Chinese, so can you share how often they are exposed to Chinese, except they accompany with each other, how, what sort of input that you give them, online classes or other situation? Can you share about that too, please?
Yes. So we have, their schedule right now is, so they both have 2 online classes with reading and writing through Wukong. that those are sort of their like push forward classes. So something a bit more challenging. Liliana, I think she's in grade 4 in Thailand right now, and she's working at a grade 4 level on the mainland Chinese curriculum.
Wow.
So she's
amazing.
Using the same textbook. And Nathaniel, the same, he's in P1 and working at a P1 grade 1 level in China. So that's their push forward. So they have homework for that twice a week, and they have the classes for that twice a week. They also have a free reading class with Wukong once a week. That's 30 minutes. They have their first Chinese teacher, the first teacher who ever taught them, who we met through Lingobus. They've since outgrown the Lingobus speaking and listening program. And the reading and writing program with Lingobus is 60 minutes long or 50 minutes long. And we just don't have, my son he just turned 7. He doesn't have 50 minutes of focus in him. One-on-one classes are very intense. So that's actually why we switched out of Lingobus to Wukong. But she was their first ever teacher. My son, when he was younger, was like absolutely in love with her. She teaches them a special course once a week. My son, this is completely designed and chosen by my children. So they talk with her. And they decide, what are we going to study? What are we going to focus on? What do you want to learn about? So my son is doing traditional stories. So right now they're going through the Monkey King. And so just reading and talking. Yes.
Yes. That's very interesting. 西游记.
Yes. And then my daughter, she's doing, this teacher is also a very, very talented painter, traditional Chinese painting. And so she's doing traditional Chinese painting with this teacher. So they just paint and chat. And because they have such a close relationship, the class is just full of conversation and meaningful connection. And it's just another way that I feel like their love of the language grows with this teacher. And she has really, when I think about why they love Chinese so much, I mean.
Yeah, I think this is part of the big reason, big part of it. Yeah, must be. Yeah. Yes.
She really, we are so lucky that we found her and that we made this connection with her. They actually, we traveled to China. We've only been to China once. And we traveled last year during the holiday to Beijing, and their teacher met them there for my daughter's birthday. And that was a really
so special.
Yes.
Lovely.
So beyond those regular scheduled classes, they are now in a trilingual Chinese Thai English program, IB program at school. They attend an IB school that's Chinese, Thai, and English. Honestly, the coursework itself is very elementary for them because the rest of the students in their class, beyond the native Chinese speaking students who come from China, those students are working at their level, but the majority of their classmates are not working at the same level as them. For example, like my daughter, she took the HSK 5 last year, and her classmates, I think, took the HSK 1 or 2. I think they could choose.
That's very common in like bilingual or trilingual schools.
Yeah, there's a varying of levels.
Like the second or third language for a child. So normally they are not as strong.
But we've been, there are students who are working at their level at that school because Phuket is... yes, because of the history of Phuket, there are many mixed families. There are many families who have, grandparents who are native Chinese or great-grandparents. It's a very... Phuket is not like the rest of Thailand. It's very different. And Chinese culture is a huge part of the culture here because of the number of Chinese people. So they have that at school. And I'm trying to think, we try to take advantage of any other like opportunities that fit our schedule. Like we love to do the Lele art when we're able to, and any other opportunity we see that's going to give them, you know, just a little bit of extra exposure, something different. We take advantage of.
Did you join the recent one, the one that we drew the down below?
No, I saw that one though, and I was so sad they missed that one. We did the one before that.
Okay, because I found this art teacher from Taiwan that she's really passionate about how to support child to find themselves through children's art. And then her class like really interesting. We got recordings in the membership area. You should check it out and
definitely.
But we are coming have this Mid-Autumn Festival one. Yeah,
we'll have to join for that one.
Be really cool. Yeah.
Liliana, I feel like especially is she's really drawn to art. And I feel like that's another way that she'll be able to, you know, continue her passion with Chinese. If you ask her what she wants to be a Chinese art teacher.
That's great.
That's
so
she wants to be an art teacher who speaks Chinese in class. Like she wants to be a Chinese art teacher.
This is so cool. Like how come it's this amazing story? Because I didn't know she decided that she wanted to learn Chinese, and at the end, not really the end. She's like 10, right?
10, yeah. 10. She's about to turn 10 in October.
Yeah, and then her dream is to become a Chinese art teacher. That's so cool.
It's been such an amazing journey. I think what I feel like has been so helpful and where we found the most success and why we've never had any issue with pushback, which I know can be a problem in the Chinese learning community with children, that there's this like pushback because they don't want to do. It is a difficult language. Learning to write in Chinese, learning to read in Chinese, it is challenging. And I think the reason we haven't found much pushback with our children, or really any pushback at all, has been we put them in the driver's seat. Because honestly, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. And so, it's easier to...
I think that this is the key. This is the key, that you put them on the driver's seat, and that's where the success comes from. So everyone needs to learn from you to start to put the kids on the driver's seat.
I mean, I honestly, it's part of it has been because that's where we've found success. But I mean, part of it has also just been because I've never done this before with another language. I'm not sure exactly what to do. So it was just easier to follow, their example of like what they wanted. So when it came to classes, when we were choosing, like people are always asking in these, in the Facebook groups, like, which company did you go with? Why did you go with this company? We're seeing, is this one better? Is that one better? We did trials with all of them. And then I sat Liliana down and said, which one did you like? Which one was good for you? And then the same with the teachers. Like once we've chosen a company, okay, we try a bunch of different teachers. And then which teacher did you enjoy? We usually would do like 2 or 3 classes with a teacher to give the teacher the chance to figure out her personality as well. And then, well, who did you like? Who do you want as a teacher? The same with like homework and for classes, like prepping for classes, and when we take classes, where we take classes. The question was always, well, where do you feel like you're the most focused for class? When do you feel like you're the most focused for class? What do you think you need to do to get ready for class? Do you think you need to watch, the recording every day? Do you think you need to do the flashcards every day? Even with Liliana, we did a Littner box with flashcards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hated that thing. It always took so much time, and you have to be, if you want it to work, you've got to do it every day. And I didn't understand Chinese enough to understand like why it was so important for her to every time need to explain to me, oh, mommy, this one has this radical and this means this. And so I know that but in my head, I'm just like, say the word and let's hurry up. Come on, I got to go cook dinner. Because I knew so little about, well, this was actually really, which is, again, where the community helped, because then I could see, this is important for her to do. So it's good. My son didn't want to touch flashcards with a 10-foot pole. Hated flashcards.
Hated flashcards.
But when he found that he wasn't reading at the level that he wanted to, that he couldn't, we were with Lele and with Sage, when he wasn't able to recall the characters and he wanted to be able to read, he wanted me to make pieces of paper with the character, and then on the other side, something that would help him remember like the pinyin or the English definition or whatever. But they're not flashcards. Don't call them flashcards.
So the piece of paper that mom writes.
Yes. They're not a flash. And no, I didn't make them. He wanted to make them. He okay, in the end he ended up, but we don't call them flashcards. They're not in a Littner box system.
I think this is a good idea. This is a good idea. Don't associate with this activity with flashcards, because flashcards have a bad feeling to it.
Yeah, for some children, and for my son, like he just didn't like the Littner system. And so even though in my mind I know a Littner box would be more efficient when it comes to learning characters at a faster rate, I know, this is just proven. It's just a proven fact that this is based on the science of memory. But it's better if he chooses his path, even if his path isn't as steep as his sister's. In the end, they're both going to end at the end as, fully literate and
that's it. Well, I think the
fluent speakers.
Consistency is a key. Like, don't worry about if a child is slower, but as long as you keep going, you keep reading, you keep move forward, just like you said, at the end, they will definitely be bilingual, biliterate.
And the most important thing is they will still like the language, because when they get to a certain age, there's no way I can make them continue on this journey. They are going to have to be the ones who choose, when they're in university and beyond university, to continue to do the work that it takes to upkeep a language. So if I damage their love and their appreciation for the language now, then what am I doing anyway? What is this investment of time and money? Because it does cost money, these classes and our library and everything. What's the point?
Yeah, serious. This is what I see happen in most families, seriously, because we can see so many, like literally so many people are trying to support their children to learn Chinese, especially at the beginning level. But we found this so rare, like this, maybe we can count with our fingers, that their kids can be like reading independently or to be biliterate. But I see this as the first, I'll say the most important part is you never take away the love of learning this language, and then the relationship between you and your kids. That this is definitely always the first priority that you need to put us in how they're learning, right?
Exactly. And I think a lot of that happens at the beginning. I think we were really lucky because, for example, we had that reading group that met once a week so long ago. Do you remember how basic my kids' Chinese was then? We had to prepare so much.
I remember in the beginning, like with some of the meetup of because that time during the pandemic, we meet up more regularly, And then we did this show and tell, and most of the time they just quiet, they just listening. But they start to say one or two words, and we'll see them grow. But like with the recent, like the previous one, our class, Liliana showed up, and all other of my Taiwanese friends asked me, say, how come they can speak Chinese so well? I said, well, they come a long way, but like that's all the effort that they put in.
It really is. It came from them. Yeah. But the group that we had that met up, I mean, that was a part of building their passion for the language and for them connecting the language to this fun and social thing. This isn't just like an academic thing. This isn't a school thing.
That's it.
This isn't a tool that I use, just for, school or something. This is a way to connect to people. One of the reasons my husband and I are raising our children abroad and are passionate about them being multilingual is because multilingualism allows them to connect with so many more people and make so many more meaningful connections with people who, are different from them in some ways culturally. And we just feel like and really, like I kind of now am benefiting. I feel sometimes a little bit, I can't think of the right word, but like I'm benefiting so much from their ability because it's also allowing me to make meaningful connections with people that I would have never met and made connections with before.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, some of my best friends in this neighborhood are Chinese mothers. Like I would have never connected with them before had it not been for our children's connection with each other. Like meeting you and the other people in the community, like that's come as a surprising bonus of our Chinese learning journey, is just making these meaningful connections with people all around the world and close by to home, that those connections happen because of the shared language. That's the purpose of language. Language is meant for communication and connection. So if that's maybe that's a piece of why my children love Chinese so much, because they feel that deep connection, that the purpose of this language, what this language does for me is, my son's best friend is Chinese. He wouldn't have that best friend and that close relationship without Chinese. He actually, he had to give a speech. He was in a Chinese speaking competition, and the prompt it's called Bridge to China. It's like an international competition. But the prompt this year was something about joy, like Chinese and joy, or the joy of Chinese. And his speech, which he wrote himself with his sister's support, was about the three things he loves most about Chinese. Song Wukong. Song Wukong. He loves Chinese stories, his teachers, and his friends. And, he, as much as a 7-year-old can understand, he understands that he only has access to those things because he's worked to learn Chinese.
Wow, that's so wonderful. Amazing.
We'll see how it continues and turns out as we move.
We need to, keep maybe see if you can share with us in 1-2 year time again. Also, we will know what happened with your baby number 3.
Oh yes, so we
for how baby number 3 learned Chinese.
Oh my goodness. That seems like another mountain in front of me, but I feel like it's going to be, it's got to be easier now that we have 2 like practically native speakers in the house,
That's it. It'll definitely be easier. Yeah.
Our focus with this one right now is for our children to, because it's so important. I know this as a language learner teacher.
Yeah.
The biggest battle is getting the child to categorize certain people or certain times or certain activities with a language. That is the biggest, most important key battle is, can their brain tell them when they see that person Chinese? You know, like I'm in Chinese mode. So that's our first and most important battle is, can we get them to categorize this baby as a Chinese speaker? Will their brains generalize sibling as Chinese speaking? You know what I mean? Or will we constantly have to remind them, like, speak Chinese to your sister, speak Chinese to your sister? We never have to tell.
It should be fine. It should be fine. And then I think even with both language, there's a lot of input. Maybe the baby will just born like naturally bilingual.
I'm hoping it'll be like Nathaniel with his sister. It was just so natural and easy because we never had to tell them to speak Chinese to each other. I think I can only think of one time, and it was literally a joke. Yeah. We were at a swimming pool and I had bought these toys from China on Taobao. When I had ordered some books, I also ordered some toys. Yeah. And I told my children, these toys speak Chinese. They come from China. They only speak Chinese. Yeah.
It's like Peppa Pig, only speak Chinese.
Yes, yeah. And this was Paw Patrol toys. Yeah. And they had only ever seen Paw Patrol in Chinese. They never, I don't know how long it was before they even realized that there also is English Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
But the books we had bought for Paw Patrol were all in Chinese. We had the Luca reading robot reading Chinese books to them with Paw Patrol. They'd only ever seen the show in Chinese. And so this was the one time that I ever had to be like, these, you know, when you play with these, they only speak Chinese. And beyond that, like even now, we never have to remind them or tell them. So I'm hoping that will translate with this third one because
They'll definitely do that to him.
Yeah. We'll see.
Very exciting. So we'll have you to share with us in maybe in a year time. Yeah. When the baby turns one.
We'll see. What will her first word be in? Will her first word be in English, or will her first word be in Thai, or will her first word be in Chinese?
Yeah. You know what? My babe, this number 4, he's not really the first word. Now he say few words. He call me, doesn't call me mommy. So he starts with the sound. Yeah. So he call me, and he call the daddy, because in Korean it's Appa. So he call him Appa, and he knows Niu, which is the cow. Yeah.
Yes.
Because all our kids speak in Mandarin at home. So his Mandarin still the strongest, but my husband speaks to him 100% in Korean, and I speak like,
wow.
I change the languages. I'm very busy. I don't worry about English, so I change in between Chinese, Mandarin, and Korean. And you know what? Recently, the new word he keeps saying is, he bring the books to me, and then he say, do.
Look.
And
it's do, read.
Yeah. He keep asking me to read for him, and he'll bring the book to me. Do. So do comes like before many other words for him.
That's a really good sign. That's a very good sign.
Yeah. He loves it. He loves to read, and I have to drop everything to read straight. I can't make him wait. Yeah, he get really angry and pissed off if I don't do straight away.
Oh, that might be a really good having my son, because my son really is, we do talk a lot about goal setting in our family, especially with homeschooling in the summers and during COVID homeschooling. We talk a lot about goal setting. What is your goal? How do you reach that goal? You know, how is it going, getting to your goal? And my son does want to improve his reading in Chinese. We have a very broad and wide library, very extensive library, and he wants more access.
Chinese?
Yes.
Chinese library in Phuket. That's awesome.
Oh, no, in our home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. That's even better.
I don't buy shoes. I don't buy bags. I don't buy clothes. I buy books. That is my
That's good.
my indulgence.
That's
yes.
Yeah, that's what we all should do.
And we have with our Chinese neighbors as well. We exchange books, and our kids go to each other's libraries. But that using my son, seeing if that's something he wants to do with his baby sister. You know, can you be her reading helper and read her books in Chinese? That might give him a little bit more extra practice and encourage him.
I think that would definitely work. Yeah, because
it worked with Lily. We'll see if it works with him.
Yeah, he's big brother now. It's different. I think some kids like to be big brother, big sister, and that's good plan. Let me know how you go. So I want to know. So can you share with us about like your kids reading Lele? Can you see the difference or like on your Chinese journey? Yeah, share with us about this. Thank you.
Yes, so I think we probably use the books a little bit differently than a native speaking family would, because when we invested in the Lele books, my children had a much lower vocabulary at that time. So they're not even just my daughter's reading vocabulary, but just their character recognition, but their speaking vocabulary was quite low. My daughter especially. Was my son speaking yet? I think he was talking, but he was still quite young.
He was only maybe 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Lily would have been about 5, so he would have been about 2. Again, I think his vocabulary in Chinese was probably growing just as fast as his English vocabulary at that time. But so we used the books as both a way to improve character recognition and to build vocabulary. So with we started with the red set, and we did sort of like a modified Littner box system with my daughter. We had baskets, and so we had the new book basket. We always had 3 books in there, and then a middle basket, books that she'd been reading and had books that she had mastered but had been reading just for a couple weeks, and then the like completely mastered and been reading for more than a couple weeks basket. So every day, again, like you said before, consistency was absolute key. And especially when they were young, consistency was the way that there was never any question as to whether or not we were going to read Lele. You know, there was never any question as to whether or not we were going to, take the books out of the first basket and read them that day. Every day it happened, whether we were on holiday, whether they were in school.
Every day.
When we traveled, we took them with us. I mean, there was no skipping of days. Generally speaking, ever.
Is it because of you, or they know they will do it by themselves?
So this was a part of the goal setting as well. Liliana wanted to learn to read. She wanted to be able to read Chinese books. We had where we were working at the time, we had access to a pretty good English library, but our donors, we also had like a lot of Chinese books in there and Thai books in there. And so she was very passionate about reading in general at that age. And so that was her goal. And so we said, okay, what are the things we're going to do to get to that goal? What do you want to do every day? And they love the Lele books. They always thought they were funny. Like at that age, they could read it 100 times, and that last page would still be, the same little giggle, at the ending. But she loved those books so much that when we had all the red books into the final basket, there was a day they sat down and read the entire set of 100 in her bunk bed in a row, no breaks. just
Wow.
sat there. She was like, I'm going to start at number 1 and go to 100. And then we moved to the yellow set. But I think what worked really well was their attention span at that age is so short. And so the very small, easy to hold, easy to digest, this is just a few pages, non-intimidating look of the books,
Yeah.
I think was also really helpful, because there were similar sorts of programs that I had invested in that she didn't respond to as well, because I think the book setup and maybe the illustrations and just in general, it just wasn't her vibe. We did, like, for example, with Sage, we had like an outside incentive. You finish a Sage book, you get a Sage special treat, just like a bowl of ice cream or something. So those other systems, like, we needed some outside incentive. But Lala, we never needed any sort of outside incentive. She always just enjoyed those. So that was our system, was every day she read the 3 books. She read, I can't remember how many, but a certain number from the middle and a certain number from the last basket. And then when she finished reading the ones from the middle, they go to the back. The ones from the last basket, they go to the back. The next day, she reads those 3 again, the middle set, the endings, the last set. And the 3 books in the first basket, they get moved to the second basket after they are mastered. So when she didn't need to use the pen.
So it sounds like every day at least she's reading like 10 plus?
About 10, yeah. I'd say about 10 books a day. Mm-hmm. And sometimes more because she liked them, and so she wanted to read more, then that's fine.
Yeah. She read it on her own.
Yes, and then for my son, it was a similar system, but he liked to use his sister more than he liked to use the pen. So we started calling her the Lele reading pen. So she was the pen for her brother.
She's his audio pen.
Yes, we're hoping in this next holiday we can move into the green set for my son.
The next holiday. So when is it?
October. No, October. Wow. Yeah, our kids are on the Thai school schedule. So when their baby sister is due, that is she's due October 1st, and then the holiday begins, I believe, the last day of September. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, it will be. It will be very interesting. So can you share with us what sort of books recently Liliana is reading in Chinese?
So we had this rule with Harry Potter that because the content gets a little bit more mature as you go through the series, and the last couple of books are just, it's not incredibly overly like explicit or anything like that, but the content is just a little bit more mature, a little bit darker.
Yeah.
So we had this rule when she was little that she would get a new Harry Potter book every year.
Oh.
So that would be one of her birthday gifts. But see, she was looking forward a little bit too much. So she found out that one of our neighbors had all the Harry Potter books in Chinese. So she kept disappearing to this certain neighbor's house.
In the beginning, you didn't know. She went there for Harry Potter.
To go and read the next Harry Potter that she's supposed to get. Not even this year. She went through one book and is now on the next. This is the book she was supposed to get when she turned 11.
Okay.
But I can't.
She read it before English version then.
Yeah. Oh, yes. But we had always, so with the exception of the first and second, she was always getting the Chinese version first. And then once she finished the Chinese version, she'd get the English one. She's, let's see, actually, I, unfortunately, because I'm not a native speaker, I can't say what she's also reading, but there's this one author that she's obsessed with right now that she's been reading a lot of. So let me grab it from one of them from their shelf. This one, these books.
So it's a Chinese author.
Yes, he's, I've heard he's quite popular,
Yeah.
but she loves these books. Before that, it was, what are these? I can't remember what these are called in English. These cat books. She has the cat version and the dog.
Okay, yeah. This one is very popular. Especially, I think most of the time, even in Taiwan, it's about year 5, 6 kids are reading those.
And this one was the one before her last. She got these for her last birthday.
Uh-huh.
That was her. That was her obsession. Yeah. And these two. She's into the Guardians of. I know this is a popular set in America as well right now. And then my son. So he doesn't read these unassisted. He uses the Luca. Yeah. But he's really into the. Oh my goodness. Yeah. He has. Campaign. We have the whole shebang.
Whole series.
Yes. He loves those. Those are his favorite right now, I'd say. But he recently picked up, I don't know which one it was, but he's still using
Mi Xiaoqian.
Mi Xiaoqian, yeah. So, yeah, that's what they currently have out. Yeah. Wow, and of course, always these.
Oh, yeah.
Those I'd say are their favorite, like read aloud, like to read aloud. I can see these being the ones that if I ask my son to read to a sister, he'll choose those. And he always has, he has a couple different, COG. Yes, COG. But again, because his journey into reading has been on a different path, a slower path, but I mean, still a path of advancing. So that's all that matters in reading.
I think every child is very, very different. And then for what I observe, normally girls is definitely earlier than boys.
Yes, yes. No, that's...
Yeah, and then see, the lucky thing you got 2 girls. Like, see, even still be slow, then maybe the little sister will pick up faster and then to read with him.
I also think, though, that I underestimate him sometimes. Yeah, because we had that, the competition I spoke of before, I mentioned before, there was also a written part that was completely in Chinese with no pinyin.
Yeah.
And I was just, when we were given very short notice for this. Yeah. And so at first I was talking to the teacher, I was like, I'm just not sure he's capable of doing this, in this short period of time and preparing for this. Mm-hmm. But then I had him take the practice, and he could read 85-90% of it. And I was like, where did this come from? I feel like I'd underestimated what his ability level was at this time because his sister had just been so obviously beyond the norm before, I just...
So you thought it might happen the same to him, but he's different, but still he's achieving a lot more than you expected.
Yes, and I kind of had to, scold myself, like, maybe your perspective is a little bit off, and, you really need to rethink, for example, like changing his level in Wukong, talking to the teacher and seeing actually he should be moved higher. Yeah. But again, I think this is also a challenge of being a non-native parent because it's hard for me to gauge exactly what his level is.
But I don't know. Sometimes for me, I feel like not be able to gauge might be a a strength too.
How so?
Because sometimes like when we might have higher expectation when we feel like, okay, you should be able to do this. When you didn't know that, maybe that helps him to grow the confidence more. Yeah,
I thought that's true too.
Just keep in time. Yeah,
and also for Liliana, like I said, Lele was not just a way for her to build her character recognition. It was also a way for her to learn vocabulary. For Nathaniel, it's not the same because he can rely on his vocabulary, his syntax and grammar, his knowledge of syntax and grammar to fill in the missing spaces when he doesn't know a character, whereas she couldn't. She had to know all of them because she didn't have the vocabulary to rely on or the knowledge of the grammar and syntax to rely on to be able to use a different cueing system. Her cueing system was visual, what the character looked like. But for my son, he can use multiple cueing systems when he's reading because
every child is that different. So we just have to learn to not compare them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have 4, so you're probably very good at that.
Yeah. I'll just look at with Declan, with Yeso, and now Yejun. They're all very different. Yeah. So with Yeso, I didn't like. She just learned it by herself, and she can read. And then with Yejun, like we have Lila when he was 3 months. How 3-4 months old. So he was read to almost every day when he was 3 months. But he can read some of the books, but I don't think he really recognized many of them. Like if we want to put it out. But I believe they all have their own time. We just have to keep doing to expose the books, expose the language to them. And they will, at the end, like we said earlier, they will be biliterate at the end. Yeah, just keep doing the work.
Yeah, just providing the opportunities. And the environment. Yeah.
So, okay, so now we're almost to the end. So if you find someone, like when you just started your journey, what advice you think you will give them?
I think keep it fun and let your children sit in the driver's seat. I mean, if we're thinking about like, what is our long-term goal? What is the purpose of this? Like, why do we choose for our children? Why do we choose to invest in our children becoming multilingual? It's so they will use it, and you can't make another human. You know, whether or not they came from you or not, you can't make another human use a language. You can only, foster a love of the language and provide the opportunities for them to take steps forward. And when it comes down to it, a child has to decide. And this is from my own experience with my own children, but also teaching, because I'm an English teacher in a school of language learners. The ones who choose and the ones who don't, like that is the difference in like their growth and their journey. And so it's so important that the language connects with joy and that they feel ownership over their learning and ownership over their growth with the language. Again, something I think is easier for me as a non-native speaker, because my kids are very much aware that they can speak, read, and write, and we cannot. So they know, this came from us. They know they must have done it. That it's not, and they know it's not some sort of like birthright for them, that it's not going to naturally just come out of nowhere. Like they had to have been the ones who did it. Yeah, they had to have been the ones who earned it. And my daughter, now that she's older, she does recognize my role in her growth and my role in her journey as a language learner. And it's been very nice as she's matured to hear appreciation naturally come from her, that, you know, she is so. My son still has no idea he's still young. He can't understand, you know, the amount of effort. But yeah, keep it joyful and let your children sit in the driver's seat. Because then you get even more than a language out of it. You get this whole, like for my daughter especially, she's quite shy and she loves to try new things, but like many children, like stepping into something new, like a new sport, a new activity, is intimidating. But those things are less intimidating when you're reminded, like, you climbed the mountain of Chinese, like, you see what you've accomplished.
That's it. That's so hard.
Whatever you want to do. And I'm hoping, I'll get back to you in 10 years, but I'm hoping that, like, going through, like, teenage years and into university, like, she can look back on this and say, like, I did this thing that seems so impossible and seems so huge and big, and I did it through daily consistent work and practice. Whatever it is I want to do, whatever it is I want to become, whatever it is I want to achieve, like, that is within my reach, because I know that I'm capable of, you know, setting a goal, reaching that goal, no matter how many years it takes.
It gives me goosebumps. It's really touching. Wow. Well, we need to be in contact, because I really want to see so she's 10. Okay, she's
just about to turn 10. Yes.
Years old. Yeah, and then she needs to record a video to share her learning journey of multilingualism, like in multilingual, to share with more other babies to come. Yeah. Like,
yes, that would be interesting.
Children and families.
We need to get our kids back together, see how much they remember each other. I know Liliana still remembers Declan. Yeah, I know Liliana still remembers Declan, because what was it? Was it a pirate ship? It was a book about Titanic. Randomly,
yes.
We were.
He still loves Titanic.
Really?
Still constantly drawing ships. Still constantly watching videos about how ships are made. Believe it or not, it once become his dream that he say when he grow up he want to build the best ship in the world.
That is amazing.
Yeah. He still loves it. Yeah, so that's really something, you see, like we can never see it sparks a child. Just whatever resonates with them, something that just, that's, you know. That's it.
Yeah, but we were reading a book about Titanic. And Liliana was like, you remember Declan? He used to draw like really cool Titanic boats. I was like, yeah, I remember.
He still draws them now. Yeah, he loves it.
That's great.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your time today. And like I say, we need to track in a year time about all three of them. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
A wonderful time.
You were a big part of our journey, especially at the beginning when I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. You were a very, very big part of like feeling encouraged and keeping it joyful and keeping it natural and, you know, not pushing in any way, but just, you know, letting the kids enjoy. And also with Lila, it's just, we're really indebted to you as well on our Chinese journey.
That gave me a lot of strength. Yeah, I really, this is my, like something I really want to do to make more people to see it's possible. And this is a way that we need to create these opportunities and environment for our children. And just like I said, I want to change the fact that now so many people are learning and spend time and effort for the beginning. Not so many people can grow out of it. So I believe we can change this. And thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story, and it definitely will change.
Thank you. I think a blue set with Lele, like a next level blue. Oh, Liliana was always asking, okay. Will they make a blue set? Will they make a?
There are many people are requesting this. Yeah, but I think we can create something similar to support. But Liliana's already reading Harry Potter.
I know. She's good now, but she always when she was younger, especially when she was getting to the end of the green set, when she's getting to the end of the green set. Well, Mommy, is there a blue set?
you see the author, Kathy.
Yes.
So the founder, author, Kathy. She, in the beginning, I asked her, like, I feel like we need to do a blue set. And then she said, no. She wants to keep it like this because 300 books are enough for help these kids to gain this ability, for them to explore what they love.
That's true. That is true. And it was, after we finished the green set, Liliana was at a level of character recognition that she could smoothly transition into bridge books. And so, when they're little, they love the familiar.
Oh,
so
okay. Cool, lovely. Okay. Once again, thank you so much. And then
thank you.
Shopping. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
听完这一集，你是否也重新相信，不是孩子不行，而是方法要对，陪伴要持续？乐乐就是为了像你和我这样的家庭设计，即使不住在华语环境，只要愿意开始，孩子就能读得懂，也会爱上中文。如果你想了解更多，欢迎到我们的官网或私讯我们索取免费的试读资源。乐乐 Talk， 我们下集见。让孩子一读再读，爱上阅读。